You know what it is. So right now, I thought I'd start the page off with showing y'all the active leaderboard. So as you know, it's not just me playing. So you can see this person, Amazing's 12, has a streak of 40, and they're the number one currently active, right? So you can actually click on their picks. Click on their profile and then see what picks they made. You cannot see their picks like before the pick is locked. So if a game, say, if they picked a Shohei Ohtani, for instance, and this game doesn't start until 8 p.m. and it's only 7 p.m., you can't see their picks because then other people will probably copy their picks and so forth, right? Um, so you can go through and see all the different picks that they pick, of course, throughout the entire thing. And this is what when I believe they had streak saver, as I was mentioning. So they had a streak of 5 between 10 to 15, and so their streak technically ended. But since they have the streak saver active, it stayed active, and then they was able to get. That's why they was able to get to 16 and so on and so forth, right? And then it's let's go back here. So their streak had ended early on as well, and so they just continued to play. Eventually got to 2 to 4, and then eventually got to 40 where they was at, right? So there's different processes doing different things. As you can see, they went by 2 a few different times. They went by 1 on different occasions, and so on and so forth, right? And then so this is the currently active streak. You can see my current streak right there at 0 because Altuve did not come through. I was actually kind of disappointed in a lot of his bats that day, right? We're gonna get into that in a little bit, right? But we much more positive and so forth, right? We got a no doubt here, baby. Believe past the doubt, baby. So we gonna keep being focused. We gonna keep locking in. We gonna keep going until the end. So we gonna see it all the way through, right? Envisioning this, having envisioning winning, and so on and so forth, right? Can't allow doubt that all of these different thoughts to kind of seek in, just because it may not be panning out how you would like it. Just gotta improve your processes. Gotta improve your thinking. Get out your own way. Not have any superstitions. None of that stuff, right? All that stuff is us, doesn't help at all. Any type of negativity, right? So we're gonna be optimistic. We're gonna be optimists. So, all right. So for yesterday, you can see the people picks that had picks yesterday. Which picks that they picked. So the green, as you can see, the meaning like they pick went through, right? And success. The people yesterday, he or she had a streak of 28, but of course it ended yesterday, right? Because they picked Alex Bregman, and Alex Bregman did not get a hit, right? So, and currently they haven't made a pick just yet, or their game hasn't finalized. So, yeah. So, and then you can go forth and you can see all season, right? So, who had the top all season? Low Tank. I remember I was following that, and I was talking to my boy Pat about it, and I remember mentioning to him a couple years ago when somebody had kind of got close to. Cause I said this game been going on for like 25 years. A couple 40 years ago, somebody had close to like 50 or something like that at the time, and then my uncle was like, or 50 at the time, or 51, and my uncle was like, but yeah, he still got a lot to go, and there ain't no guarantees that he's going to win it. And then I think the next day his streak like ended. So the same thing kind of happened with Low Tank. And I was watching this. They ended up picking Jacob Wilson, I think. Let's scroll down here, and they streak ended. I remember keeping up with that. Here we go. So they would have been 6 picks away or 7 picks away from winning the $5.6 million, right? So they was going about 2 basically every day except for a few games. They were taking some days off, as you can see, right, from the 7th to the 10th. So you don't have to play every single day, but the times that you take off, right, it's opportunities potentially missed, right? You do want to have a strategy and so forth for what you plan on doing, but it doesn't mean if you stick to that same old strategy that it's going to pan out, right? Even if you have everything perfectly set up in a line, it's the perfect plan may fall through. It may not work. Even the not the best plan may actually work out for you. So that doesn't mean you don't keep improving your process, as mentioned earlier. So yeah, their streak ended at Jacob Wilson, and then they end up staying at 0 again. And so let's see where they at. And they haven't been able to kind of get a groove back again. I've seen that a lot with players that play this. They get up to the top and then they struggle to kind of get back to the top once they streak ends. So I'm not sure if there's a study been done on that or why that is the case, or whether they're trying to follow the same formula or they're trying to change things up. They thinking too much. But yeah, let's go back up. So they're only at 2 right now. So trying to still play and so forth. And then all time, you can see there's been 3 people, Robert Mosey and MRS, who's got to. One was in 2017, one was in 2018. Can't remember which was which. Who got to 51 first? Probably was 51 first. But I know for one of them, they have a video on it that they end up second guessing themselves. At the time, they was thinking about picking Freddie Freeman or Matt Kemp or something like that during the time, and maybe I could find a video later. and they ended up second guessing themselves, and they went with Ezekiel Cabrera, and who else did they go with? And then Ezekiel Cabrera didn't get a hit, and they streak ended. So they did they was on MLB Network or one of the MLB shows, and they were speaking about it. So yeah, let's get to and this is a group right here that's called Endure 14. No, actually, that's the highest I've had. That's my name for the streak. I mean, my name for this game. And then Most West Bang. I explained why I named it that. That's a group with my guy Pat and I. Look like he hasn't played in a while. So since July, because he's probably had a lot going on. But yeah, so let's see here. Let's go back to my picks today, right? And what went wrong with that, right? So let's go to my picks. Okay, so with Altuve, as I said, he didn't come through, and I was kind of disappointed in some of his at bats when I was keeping updated. So let's go to them, right? Where is it at? So right here. One thing I did not think about when picking Houston, picking some Houston players versus Detroit, but I forgot AJ Hinch is a factor, right? AJ Hinch is a Detroit Tigers manager who was the former manager of the Astros. And if y'all kept up with the situation, y'all may know why he's not with the Astros anymore, and then why he's with Detroit. Y'all can look into that, why that is the case, right? And so he would have insight on how to potentially pitch against Altuve or pitch against Carlos Correa because he managed them, helped them win a World Series, and so on and so forth. So I didn't think about that. And then Charlie Morton as well. Maybe I was not saying I should be a pessimistic, but sometimes I'd be a little bit too over optimistic or naive. Like, oh yeah, this batter is gonna come through. He's 6 for 6 against him, or he's 10 for 10 against him lifetime, or the hitter's gonna have the advantage. But that's not always the case, right? So they like I said, they pitched. Charlie Morton pitched, former teammate of theirs, and also played under AJ Hinch when he was with the Astros as well. So some of Altuve's at bats lately, I don't know what's been going on with him, but let's see here. So this is his first. What was this? His first at bat that he struck out. Not sure if he just wasn't seeing it well, but yeah, Charlie Morton is a good pitcher. He has some periods of stretches within the last couple of years that he has not pitched well. But what was that bet that kind of not made me too happy with him? Let's see here. No, I don't think it was him. Yeah, Altuve likes to have fastball, but I don't think it was Altuve. Was it Carlos Correa? It might have been Carlos Correa I wasn't happy with. But yeah, here we go. Right here, right? So every player is different, right? But what gets me with baseball players, and me being a baseball player myself, right? It's every baseball player is having their own approach, right? I have my own approach. Whether if y'all watch Mike Trout or watch Mike, he always takes the first pitch. I can't remember the last time Mike Trout has swung at the first pitch. It doesn't mean the first pitch is always a good pitch, but if it's a great pitch, why not swing the bat? I don't get that. So you saw here, I think Jeremy Pena got walked in his first at bat, and he saw a good pitch in his wheelhouse that's a strike and took advantage of it and ended up getting a double, right? So I'm not understanding that. So if a pitch is not your pitch, right, and you taking it right down the middle or so forth, I'm not getting that, because it doesn't mean you're going to get another opportunity at that. So it's just like with any opportunity in life, you thinking, oh yeah, I'll wait till next time, or I'll do it later, and sometimes later never come, or that opportunity pass. So I think about that same thing when it comes to, baseball, or when swinging at good pitches, right? And I understand the situation may be different. Just because you get your quote unquote your pitch that's in your zone doesn't mean it's going to turn into a hit, right? Same thing, you can take it, even if you hit a pitch that's right down the middle, doesn't mean it's going to be a hit. But why let a good opportunity pass, right? So if you see ball two right here, right? I mean, or strike two, pitch number two, right? Call strike right down the middle. Why Carlos Correa wasn't swinging at that, I have no idea. But then tell me why he swings at pitch four, right? Which is much lower, and then he loves low pitches. Then he swings at pitch five, right? Low curveball, right? So it probably looked higher than what it was because it's a curveball probably hanging, right? But still, right? You have a pitch right down the middle, so he flew out to right fielder, right? So I'm just not understanding that. And if y'all know who, if y'all heard Big Papi, if y'all know who Big Papi is, shame on y'all, man. So David Ortiz, former Minnesota Twins, originally, and then of course went to Boston Red Sox. I believe he said don't quote me verbatim, but that he doesn't, or at least at one point he said that he looks for a pitch to hit. He doesn't really specify on, if it's a good pitch to hit, he swings the bat and so forth, right? As I mentioned, don't quote me verbatim, but I remember him saying something around that, with fastball, changeup, slider. If it's a pitch, if it's a hittable pitch, he's swinging at it, and that's the kind of mindset I have Doesn't mean you swing every single pitch. It's going to be a good pitch, but if it's in a good zone, why not take a great crack at it, right? And so, yeah, so as I mentioned, so my streak stayed at 0, but we're going to keep riding until the wheels fall off, right? So we're going to stay at it. We're going to stick with it, right? We ain't going to second guess our picks for tomorrow. So my picks for tomorrow are, like I said, I've been having in the past. I'm going to overcome this, right? We're going to overcome this tomorrow. Because in the past, Patrick Corbin has given me issues, right, with getting his M. So I have Bobby Wood Jr. and Michael Garcia, if they're both playing tomorrow. So that's if the coach doesn't have, if the coach has them in the lineup, doesn't give them a day off, or somebody has like a little emergency stomach hurt and back hurt. And I've literally seen that's why you got to sometimes check your picks beforehand, right? Because they can literally be scratched from the lineup 5 minutes before the game. I've seen so many different scenarios. So these are we going with tomorrow. We're going for a streak of 2 tomorrow, and then we eventually going for a streak of 57, right? So like I said, we're going to stay at it. We're going to stay consistent, and we're going to keep doing our thing, right? Climbing to that grand pass of $5.6 million and $5.6 million reason to play and 5.6 million opportunities. So that's the main thing, 5.6 million opportunities. That's what we're looking for, because it's going to open up so many different things, opportunities. Of course, I'm not just sitting here day to day just waiting on this. I'm working in my personal life to create more opportunities and stuff as well. Right. But this is also another potential major opportunity that I don't want to miss. Right. I want to take advantage of it, because there's no guarantees, because this wasn't played. They skipped a year in 2020 when they had the shortened season. Yeah, so they didn't. The MLB Beat the Streak did not happen during that year, and I wasn't sure if they was going to bring it back. And so that's really why it's key to take advantage of every opportunity, because you never know. So ain't nothing guaranteed, right? So appreciate y'all. Appreciate the support. Appreciate y'all tuning in, and I got, like always, to the next one.